Hi, everybody. I'm Todd McKim, and welcome to the Men's Basketball Report on Cowbears.com with head coach Mike Montgomery. And it's not quite as simple as this, but one shot goes in, one shot doesn't go in. You end up with two victories when you play Oregon and Oregon State.
Well, yeah, it isn't as simple as that, but I mean, sometimes it boils down to that. We had a tie game, obviously, at Oregon, and had the ball, so that makes a big difference. You know, if you don't make the shot, you go to overtime. Now you're on the road, you don't want to go to overtime. Justin got a great look at it. Almost makes you wonder why he can't do that a lot more, because he was up in the air, he was above him, and the ball came out of his hands, and it was pure. Left his hands. The other one, you know, was we were ahead one, and he had to go the length of the court with 4.3 seconds. So it made it a little more difficult to even get the ball into the operational area. Tried to make them take the ball going away from the basket so they didn't have a head of steam going to the basket, and we were able to do that. So probably a good 2 seconds or more was used up just getting the ball toward half court. So it wasn't a great shot under those circumstances. I can remember instances past where we've had guys go the length of the floor and not a whole lot more than that and actually get to the basket if they get a straight path. But in those situations, oddly enough, a timeout was not taken. You know, it was where they took it out and caught you by surprise and came right up your backs. You know, you're right, though. It's both games were right there for either team to have. Oregon didn't make a lot of shots late, and we were able to hang in there and get that one, which was huge. I'm sure Oregon's disappointed the way they played, but at the same time, we felt like we gave ourselves a chance, and then lo and behold, you know, the old saying, if you give yourself a chance, you might get one, and we did.
Got one, got two. Ever been involved in a game where the margin of victory was actually what took place before the game even started? Oregon State got a technical foul, and it was 1-0 before the game started.
But, you know, the interesting thing is, because I've always gotten a kick out of the press, how they've always jumped on technicals like that's such a big deal. Players adjust to that. I mean, the momentum coming out. If anything, to be honest with you, I thought missing that foul shot might have hurt Alan Crabb's confidence a little bit. You know, being out there, and I think he maybe let that get in his head just a little bit. But had that 1 point not existed, I really doubt that it would have been even because of that at the end of the game.
Probably not, but it's kind of fun to talk about nevertheless. All right, before we talk about this weekend's game, let's hear from Brandon Smith, a young man in his kind of final countdown to his career. It's been up and down, a couple of injuries as well, and here's what he has done throughout his career. Throughout his basketball career, Brandon Smith has been a winner. In 4 years at De La Salle High School and 3+ years at Cal, Smith has been a part of 198 victories.
It's weird because in high school, I only lost a few games really. And every time that we lost, you know, I was in tears, like my heart was broken. And here, you know, the competition obviously is much better. There's more losses and stuff involved, but I still feel the same. You know, you still feel that heart aching like, oh, I hate this. You know, what do I got to do to win?
Smith has enjoyed 84 wins at Cal, including a Pac-10 championship during his freshman season. The Bears are currently in the midst of one of the most successful stints in school history, with a chance to tie the school mark of 5 consecutive postseason appearances.
As a team, we believe that, you know, NCAA, that's where our season is going to end. You know, the tournament, that's where our season is going to end. It's not just, all right, you know, this year I kind of hope we make it. You know, it's a long shot chance. It's like, no, this is what we're working for. This is what we expect of ourselves. And it's really cool to see how the standard has been raised here.
Smith is also a survivor. Several concussions have forced him to the sidelines the past 2 seasons. Never flashy, the senior from San Ramon knows his role.
Every year I've try to be that guy who's just solid. You know, that is the guy that we could depend on. You know, he's going to bring the same effort. He's going to have a great attitude. He's going to be coachable, ready to learn. And so every year I've kind of been that.
Smith is also a bit of a prophet. Here is what he had to say about the Bears just prior to the opening of Pac-12 play.
I'm excited. I'm looking forward to conference play. I think we're going to surprise people. I think the expectations for our team this year is just kind of like so-so or mediocre, just kind of middle of the pack. I think we're going to surpass that. Probably work the hardest we've ever had in the weight room this year. You know, as far as practices, there's a new intensity that we haven't had probably since my freshman year, you know, where we actually won when we won conference.
A winner, a survivor, a prophet. Smith has traveled the world and would like to make one more trip while at Cal, a trip to the NCAA tournament. As you look at Brandon this year, you know, he missed 6 games with a concussion, so he's in the lineup, then he's gone for a couple of weeks, but he's an important guy for your team because he gives you the ability to put somebody in there that's a veteran. You had him in there at the end of the game against Oregon because you felt he could make the pass or the right decision. And then at Oregon State, he doesn't take a lot of shots, but he nails a huge three-pointer in the second half.
Well, Brandon's been critical. I don't know that we win either of those games without Brandon. It's not so much that he goes in and gets 20. It's the notion that we have him, that if somebody's not quite right, we can put a veteran in that steadies us. You know, he knows where to get the ball. He knows what we're trying to do. And so I can take a guy out and let him sit and maybe look for a second or two and kind of get his bearings, get back on track, and then put him back in. And I can put him in, you know, for any one of 3 guys. So without that, we just didn't have any flexibility. And I think guys' concentration sometimes, if they got frustrated, there was no relief for them. There was no way I could get him out of there. And we found that really Justin really benefits sometimes because he'll get down on himself. And when he does that, he you know, you can just tell that he's out of it for a little bit. So you get him out, set him down, he kind of watches for a minute, goes back in, and he's invariably better. So Brandon's done a lot of things. Now, really, for Brandon, is all he has to do is make open shots. And if he can do that, that makes him invaluable because right now in some situations they're leaving him open. He's got some hesitancy, and he is a good shooter, but he just needs to go up with confidence and knock those down. When all of a sudden, I think he had, the 2 shots that he made, you know, all of a sudden it changes everything. Now they have to defend him differently. It opens things up for others, and he's certainly capable of doing that.
Certainly is, as he will be playing his final 3 home games in his career the next 2 weeks. All right, this week, Utah and then Colorado on Saturday. The game at Utah, you got off to a nice big lead, and then with about 5 minutes to go, they kind of ratcheted things up a little bit. You were able to force 17 turnovers, 16 steals, and come away with a win there. And then Colorado, they jumped on you from the get-go. It was like a 16-point game at the half. You got within 8. But both of these games are critical because you're at that stage of the season where every game just takes on added importance.
Well, 3 weeks ago, you wouldn't have thought that. I mean, 3 weeks ago, we were headed, I think we were headed to the Arizonas, and then we had UCLA SC coming in here, and then back on the road against the Oregons, ranked teams, the whole deal. We're thinking, oh my goodness. And now here we are. We've come out of it in great shape. Utah, there's not an easy game in the league from the standpoint of thinking that you can go, particularly for our team. You know, we don't have a bunch of guys that are just going to overpower anybody physically, so we have to be ready to play defense. When we play good defense, it seems to spur us on offensively a little bit. When we play good offense, it makes us better defensively. So Utah has played everybody close. They've had a chance to win every game they've played, almost to a single game. They've been very competitive. They got a lot of freshmen playing, of course, and that's always difficult. But Larry's done a really nice job. They're playing hard. They want to finish up strong. So, you know, we've just got to keep our heads on straight. We have a chance. There's some circumstances that have to occur, but I mean, I'd say there's a better than even chance if we were able to win out that would get us a share. Not a guarantee, but it's the only way probably it's going to happen. So we were in the same position last year where we needed 2 out of 3, and we didn't get them. We got 1 out of 3. So this year we need 3 out of 3. So difference, I guess, is they're at home versus being on the road, but I don't know that makes it any easier. We've proven that we're vulnerable at home if we don't play well.
Well, the last 3 home games have been nail-biters. USC, the 2 Oregon schools. UCLA was the one game that was maybe a little bit different. So A thrill a minute. Might as well come out and watch the last 3 home games. Beginning Thursday night against Utah at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, the crowd's been great. You know, the crowd really has been great. I think they've kind of enjoyed this team because it's anything but perfect, you know, and so they kind of get behind it and see the effort that's going into it. And gosh, the last 2 games at the toward the end, the noise was deafening, and so it's really been a lot of fun. I think the fans have enjoyed it. I hope they'll come out these last 3.
All righty, we got Utah Thursday night, 6 o'clock. Hope to see you then. From Mike Montgomery, I'm Todd McKim. Thanks for joining us on the Men's Basketball Report on CalBears.com.